Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining us here on KXAN Live. I'm Will Dupree, coming to you from the KXAN Live studio. On our Wednesday afternoons, we are very glad that you're joining us because we're going to be focusing, as we have for the last week or so, on some stories that maybe improve your health or your well-being and maybe even inspire you in some way. And today is no exception because the story that we're going to talk about now really lifts your spirits and talks so much about resiliency and also about reaching out to KXAN and how maybe we can help you in some way. So joining us, as always, is one of our producers, Jose Torres. Jose, thank you so much for being here. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity.
I am so excited to talk about this story for this week. Again, our Simple Health segments on our Wednesday afternoon live streams focus on health, wellness, or inspiring somebody out there. And as I mentioned, this story is no exception. So first, let's start off by talking about what story we're going to be discussing today.
Well, I heard about Dom Fusco's story. It's an amazing story of survival. He lived through cardiac arrest, and it just piqued my interest. And so I started chatting with him on Instagram, and like, oh, I want to share your story. And the biggest takeaway that Dom wants you to hear or get from the story is how key CPR is, because it saved his life.
Yeah, CPR truly saved his life. Let's take a listen to one of his friends who actually helped him on the day last year when he went into cardiac arrest.
You were mumbling, you were talking to us, but it wasn't super coherent, and then we lost you, and we couldn't get any response from you.
Thank you, brother. That was great. Thanks for coming out.
The man you just heard there is Gus, and he actually is Dom's friend who performed CPR first before first responders there. And Jose, this video that we're seeing right now, that was the day that this all unfolded, right?
Yeah, that is amazing. They were out just practicing their mile runs. They wanted to see how fast they could pace themselves and run that 1 mile. And they just happened to shoot that video right there, probably minutes before Dom's cardiac arrest.
All right. And throughout these last 10 months or so, he has been searching for an off-duty firefighter who just so also happened to be at that same track where he and his friends were running and helped perform CPR and save his life. And that's just, again, been several months where he's never known who this person is, but he reached out to you and to us here at KXAN, and we were able to find that firefighter.
Yeah, he's been really passionate about finding out who this mystery hero is. He calls him an angel because he didn't know if he was real or not. So after hearing this story, I contacted the Austin Fire Department, and I didn't have much information. Didn't have his name. I only had the time that it happened, when it happened, and the location. And thankfully, that was enough for AFD to track down the man who saved his life, and he actually was recognized and got an award because of that.
And they reunited just this week. So we were able to be there for that. Let's take a look at when that happened. Jose was there, and we'll continue our conversation on the other side. Stay with us.
I wouldn't be here without you.
Well, I'm glad I was there.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know if you were real. Yeah. Dude, I thought about you every single day.
Everything really good.
I feel so good. I mean, the toughest part was physically, yes, I got the defibrillator put in. So, like, they get this guy in there right now.
You don't often get to meet or have an opportunity to meet somebody you did CPR on, even if whether, you know, and when they survive. I've never met, this is the first time I ever met anybody. So like I said, when I got the opportunity, it's of course.
We've been talking about, like, you know, the firefighter who saved my life for so many months. And, you know, my mom, like, again, would be like, and my friends would be like, I wonder, maybe, is he even real? Like, was he just an angel? I don't know.
See you often talking, functioning like a human.
Yeah.
This is actually the first time I've ever met someone that we've helped save.
We just talked about how well he's doing, how cool it is to see him.
To be recognized, especially during EMS week, is, I think, a big deal for all of us.
I think the most rewarding part about this job is the ability to help people.
I've thought about you every single day up until now. My mom just called me on the way here, like, just in tears, saying, just tell him thank you. And I've been thinking about this interaction. If it was ever going to happen, I wasn't sure if you were real or not, if you were just an angel, because none of my friends got any of your contact information that day. But I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude. I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude.
Truly amazing, Jose, that you got to be there for this very special reunion and played such a big part in it happening. Let's mention that firefighter's name, though.
Ben Liner. And as you heard him say, this is a rare opportunity, not just for him, but for all first responders. They never get the chance to meet the person that they helped save. So this was a gift, not only for Dom, but for the first responders as well.
And if you paid attention to that story there too, we showed you 3 paramedics from Austin Travis County EMS. Jose, discuss what role they played on that day last August when Dom suffered cardiac arrest.
Chris Garrett, the woman you heard from there in that story, she was driving the ambulance, and the tall man that was there with them as well, he's the commander, so he's like their supervisor. And the young man that was there, he is the clinical specialist, so he administers, whatever treatment he may need to administer at that moment. And when they got the call, they were on hour 11 of their 12-hour shift. And so they were just fueling up the ambulance, and they heard something on their dispatch. And they were going to assign the call to another ambulance, another crew, but that crew was a bit further away. So they said, no, we'll just take the call. We're closer. And at the time, the call came in as heat. It was like a low priority heat call. So they didn't know at the time it was cardiac arrest until like a minute later, they got an update and said, yes, this is a cardiac arrest. So thankfully, they were the ones that took the call because they were closer. They got to him faster. And when they got there, Ben, who was off duty, was already giving Dom CPR along with Gus, the person you met earlier in this story.
In your story, you mentioned how Ben Liner, the firefighter rather, that we're seeing right there, who reunited with Dom just this week. Can you explain what he was doing at the track at the time? Because this was all really fortuitous that they were there both at the same time.
Yeah, it was just perfect timing. Ben was there with his son. They were in the middle of a Boy Scouts physical fitness test. And Ben told me that, he noticed Dom and his group of friends just running around the track. He saw them running. And then he looked again, and then he saw Dom lying down. And so, he just told his son, hold on a second, let me go see what's going on. He rushed over there and started administering CPR to Dom to give Gus a little break, because when you're giving CPR, you have to keep going. You can't stop. So Ben was so essential there, because Gus would have, Gus is trained and certified to give CPR, but when you're waiting for an ambulance, you don't know how long that's going to be.
Right. I mean, those are truly life-saving skills. And fortunately, both Dom's friend and this off-duty firefighter were right there to be there in the meantime before the paramedics could arrive. Let's talk just a little bit, though, about Dom's health, because he is an incredibly fit person who it would seem that it would be surprising that he would suffer cardiac arrest before all that last August.
Yeah, up until now, he doesn't know what caused it. The doctors don't know what to tell him.
Wow.
He has no history of heart disease in his family. So, yeah, this just came all of a sudden. And the theme of his post-recovery is resilience. And 6 months exactly after his cardiac arrest, he and his mom went to Tanzania. And they went to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro, and take a look at those awesome views. He was there to raise money for a nonprofit that helps children in Tanzania go to school so they can have a better education and better life after getting their education. So yeah, he and his mom went there. They spent, I want to say a month, but I'll have to check back on that. But they spent quite a while there getting to know the people they were helping. The climbing was just so much fun, just based on his document that he has Or his videos, I'm sorry, that he has on Instagram.
Yeah, it's just amazing that he did that trip, made that trip to climb Mount Kilimanjaro not long after he suffered cardiac arrest.
It's no easy task. I mean, you saw in those photos, that's a huge mountain. It's
Absolutely.
the highest. Yeah, it's the highest in Africa. So he, those 6 months he spent recovering slowly, getting back into running. He and his mom have now run a few races, a few 5Ks. And it's amazing. It's a story of hope, you know?
Absolutely. And underscores the importance of getting trained to do CPR because it really that was what saved his life in the beginning too. Talk about what else we can find in your web story, because I had the fortune of getting to copy edit it a little bit earlier today and learned a lot about this story, but there's so much more depth there that we didn't get to cover in our conversation here. So talk about what some of those options are on our website.
So Dom now has a defibrillator on his side, on his left side.
Yeah.
And he almost didn't get it when the doctor said, hey, this is an option for you for the rest of your life. He almost said no. So you have to go to the web story to find out what changed his mind. And on the web story, you're also going to have a link to CPR classes to see who offers them, which is the City of Austin and the American Heart Association. So I have a link to those. And then I have a link to the differences between cardiac arrest and heart attack, because there is a difference, and you'll see those, and then you'll see the symptoms, to watch out for.
Such important information there. And Jose, thank you so much for just following this story, wanting to highlight it, and coming on to talk about it too, because what Dom has dealt with as such a young person is pretty amazing, and he really has such a great spirit to move forward with it and want to tell his story. And we appreciate him also talking to you and getting that chance as well to reunite with that firefighter that he's just been searching for all these months, to say thank you. And you get to see the emotion in that video there, and we just appreciate all of that. So Jose, thank you again for joining us for Simple Health, this week's edition of it, and we'll be back hopefully next week for another edition of it and to talk even more about some of those stories.
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to it.
All right, everybody. That is Jose Torres, one of our producers here at KXAN. I'm Will Dupree in the KXAN Live studio. We will see you back here at another time. Hope you all stay safe and healthy out there. Take care.